You know we on the spot. I say we on the spot, on the spot, on the spot, live.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is German Angel. I'm here in the city of Long Beach, a beautiful city. And today I have a good friend of mine in the other computer somewhere here in the city. And is Gregorio Luque. I know Gregorio for so many years. He used to be the president, the director of the MOLA Museum, the Latin American Museum here in the city of Long Beach. Well, and today we're going to talk to him and see how he's feeling under this new law that we have to stay at home until we find out what's the problem with the virus. Gregorio, hello, good afternoon. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing fine, Angel. Nice to be with you.
So tell me, how's everything going when you're live? I know you used to travel all over the world, going from places to places. One day you're in Mexico and the other day you're in Italy. And now you are home. How you feeling?
And it was very abrupt in my case because the last week of February, I was in Spain. I received a medal, the Maite Espinola Medal for art criticism, and then I did 5 lectures in 6 days or something like that. And so it was a very interesting experience for me. We did a tribute to Agustin Lara. We had 8 musicians, and it was like a dream come true for me because it was like going to a country that is closely connected to Mexico by language, by tradition, by history. And so it was like a great success for me. I received my medal, and then I did a lecture on Frida Kahlo, and then I did one on Diego Rivera in an auditorium that was named after Diego's teacher, Eduardo Chicharro. Then on a Wednesday, I did a lecture at the university Alcalá de Henares, that is one of the oldest in Spain. And I did a lecture on Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, that is the first feminist. And then I did a lecture on Maria Felix, the great movie star of Mexico that did many movies in Spain. And we finished on Friday with a big tribute to Agustin Lara. This year, we commemorate the 50th anniversary of his death. And so, I have been linked to the Patronato Agustin Lara since I was in MOLA. Every year we used to do this concert. We invited all these performers. And so I, decided to do that. I didn't have to. I could have just done a lecture just with my slides, but I went through all the trouble. I used some of the miles that I had in my credit cards, and I got GoFundMe and sponsors and friends and so on. And we were this big party. We were 10 artists, and then I hired a mariachi there, and we got a piano. We did everything. It was just extraordinary. And the place was full. We did it in the Embassy of Mexico. And we were just so happy. It was like everything worked perfectly,
I think you have some videos and pictures in your Facebook, no?
I do. I videoed most of it, but I've not been able to put it together, but I can create a special, maybe it's a project to do. And then, after that triumphant stay in Madrid, I went to Washington. And Washington for me is also a very important city because I started my career in the US as a diplomat in DC many years ago. And so I still have friends there. And I was invited to do a lecture on Frida Kahlo in the OAS, the Organization of American States. That was on March 11. So we already had the coronavirus, becoming a very serious issue. And they started to close everything. But for some reason, because the OAS is an international organization, they did not close it. And so then, and it's a huge place. It's where they have all these meetings. So they were able to do all the social distancing, so they opened the entire building for me, really. And so we had a reception where, I mean, all my friends showed up, and we were all trying to stay separate, but it was still very moving. And then we sat there, it was full. And I did that presentation. And as I finished my show, the mayor of DC closed the city. So I think it was one of the last events. Well, it was the last event in DC, and I don't know in the rest of the country, but I think it's one of the last events in the country. And so I was looking for a very good season. I was going to be doing things for the California Association of Bilingual Educators. I was going to do a big lecture for the Plaza de Cultura y Artes in downtown LA, and many other things, you know. And so suddenly all this came to an abrupt halt. Everything stopped. I lost every single one of my contracts and pretty much my livelihood, because, you know, I know that we will eventually get back on our feet eventually, but I think it'll be a while before people do public events. You know, I think that, you know, when this opens, and we still don't know when that'll be, and I'm sure that California will do the right thing. You know, that's one of the good things about living in California, that I think we have very good leadership in our governor, and are very, in contrast to many other people that have been so reckless. In California, we've been very prudent, and the results have been, considering, well, so far, and I knock on wood, I mean, even places like San Francisco, I mean, San Francisco has a density of population comparable to New York.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, very fast. The governor, you know, closed the schools, ordered social distancing before anybody else in the country. And so I think that that has been good. In Long Beach, the same. And, you know, one of the things that I like about our leaders, one of the things I like about our governor and our, and you know, our mayors, and is you find people that are cultured. You know, Mayor Garcetti, for example, of LA, is famous for constantly been studying not just the present, but he's been studying a lot of the 1918 influenza, and how did they come out of that, and what did they do. So you have good leadership in California, and then you have a very good infrastructure, because we've had all these natural disasters and fires, and so we have an infrastructure that is solid. And then, well, there's also things that help in Long Beach, especially where we're pretty spread out.
Yeah.
You know, the even the car culture, a lot of the things that sometimes people criticize about us, you know, the car culture, the being so spread out, so dispersed, it has turned out to be a good thing, you know, because I think that it has made it more difficult to contact directly so many people. So, but, you know, as much as, you know, one is suddenly a person like me that is a performer,
Yeah.
and that, in all honesty, I have no idea when I will work again. I mean, I don't have a salary. I'm not connected to an institution. I'm not a small business. I cannot qualify for a loan.
Mhm.
And I certainly have, you know, bills to pay and issues like that. So, you know, it was just killing me. But I remembered very much my mother's advice. In Mexico, in Latin America, there is a saying that when things get tough, you acudes al recurso del método, the resource of method, which is, when things go crazy, you create an inner structure in your own day, in your own life. In other words, the worst you can do is just treat this as if it were a vacation, because it's not a vacation. And I know that maybe some people say, well, Gregorio, you know, don't be so stuck up, just relax. Well, you don't relax. You don't relax.
Gregorio, let me ask you this. How's a typical day for you now these days? I know we don't have any place to go or anything like that. So how's a typical day for Gregorio Luque now in these days? What time you get up and what you do?
What I was trying to tell you, and that I think that maybe some of our viewers could could do something similar, at least it's helped me a lot, is to come up with a grid, a structure for my days, right? And so it can be anything, right? In my case, I say, okay, well, I have all these dogs, no, and so I'm going to take them out every day at 7 in the morning, at 2 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock, and I'm going to have, all the whatever I need, and I stick to it. And then, I was doing.
Are you cooking? Are you do any cooking, or you call any places to come to your house? Or you a bad cook?
I do the like the archetype for the day, the structure for the day. So I walk the dogs and I do a therapy for my arm. I have breakfast. I read the newspaper. I underline the newspaper. Or I archive the newspaper and subscribe to the New York Times. I do that. Then I write for 2 hours, and then I'm learning new skills, right? Because I figure out, well, maybe I have to figure out a new way of. And then at night, the cooking. My wife and my daughter have taken the leadership on that. But
so I cook.
No, but I try to. I more or less keep my diet.
Yeah.
You see, again, the same thing. If you just let it rip and you just open up, you end up in a situation, but that is, this kind of relaxing and just letting go is not relaxing at all.
No.
Because what you need is to create like a discipline and a structure and a rigor for yourself. It can be whatever you want it to be. In my case, fixing my library, organizing my things, putting this, doing the other. I've created a film club with my kids. Every night we watch a movie, and I try to be one of the best movies. So I have a whole list of all the movies that impressed me. And then I'm trying to see them. So I think that we have turned something that could be terrible into something that is a good opportunity, because these establishment of routines, that is one of the things that goes in this country, because everybody's so busy, got so many things to do, everybody has a different agenda. So people end up eating together less and less and doing things less and less. So what I've tried is to say, okay, well, dinner is at 7 or whatever, and movie is at 8. And we're going to do this, and walking of the dogs is at this time, and this other is at this time, and we're going to eat this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to try to rediscover in our own family rituals, disciplines, challenges, and create a structure, because normally the outer world structures you, right? In my case, it is the people that invite me to speak. I get a lecture in Spain, I get a lecture in Washington, I do this, and so that gives me things to do and structures my day to day. But now that I don't have that, I have to create that. I have to create that grid. I have to create that structure. I have to, and I do. And so, I think it's been very good. I don't think we have had so many conversations as we have now. So it's so far so good.
Gregorio, I got 3 questions that very I hear background. Well, anyway, you hear the background? Okay, now I don't. Okay, now I don't hear my background. Anyway, I hear some pigeons. Where you at? Are you in a cage right now?
Well,
that's what. If you, what is all that noise that I hear in your office?
I've ended up being like Dr. Doolittle,
Okay.
Because as every parent knows, in every family with young kids, you end up with a bunch of animals.
Okay, so what happens?
And the kids take care of the animals for about a week, and then you take over. So I've had everything from lizards to guinea pigs. Now I have a dove that this one, my wife found it, and we had it outside, but I was worried it was going to get cold. So I brought it inside, and you know, it participates in the conversations. And so I do a lot of interviews and people think that I'm in some kind of jungle or something. No, it's a dove that we have here. So, you know, 4 dogs, a dove, a cat. And now it used to be worse. I used to have rabbits, bearded dragons, and any number of animals.
Okay.
So I like that.
Okay, so that's one question. And also we know what we understand about the pigeon sounds. About Zoom, I noticed that you are trying to do Zoom. Can you tell us about the Zoom project that you have? And you already did a lecture last week, and you have another one coming up. Can you tell us about how you come out with this idea now to use Zoom?
Well, you know, I'm so used to doing live presentations, and my ability to work on the technology is limited. I'm still figuring it out, but that is one of the projects that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn how to use these things. And so at first I started just with a couple of friends doing some presentations. In Easter, I have a presentation that is called Jesus, His Life and Art. And so a lot of people in Mexico and here, you know, were feeling kind of depressed because they couldn't go to the church, they couldn't do this, and they asked me if I could do my presentation in Zoom, and so I agreed to that, and I did it, and it's challenging in the sense that I would like to be able to make a bigger point at some times in the lecture, and so that I could. You can't really alternate. Well, I mean, I'm sure you could, but I would like to alternate sometimes when the whole screen is with the painting and then me coming in there and making a point and then getting back to it and things like that, you know, that I still don't know. But I did the Easter show and people liked it. And then last week I did something on tango. This is for a small group of people. And tomorrow I'm doing something on.
It wasn't that small. It was 70 people that we were all there.
And then I did. I'm planning to do something tomorrow on Mexican music.
Okay.
And I'm experimenting on this, and I would like it to open it to my friends in Long Beach. But I'm trying to get a little better before. So I don't know. You mentioned that you had a camera, or were working on a camera that maybe can be better. They told me that there were other ways of doing the webinars and things. I'm trying to figure it out, how to do this and how to time myself and how to work on it. But I would like, if I could, to reach out to all of my audience. I've got people that have been coming to my lectures now for 30 years or more.
Yeah.
And in Long Beach, I feel especially close. I never thought that would be the case. Everything has kind of happened to me sort of in a happenstance manner. I was living in DC, and then I was posted in LA in the consulate of Mexico. And then I lost my job, and I was for a while without a work. And so then Dr. Gumbiner, who is the founder of the Museum of Latin American Art, invited me to do this. And he found out that I'm a terrible driver.
Yes,
It's just not my forte. And so he insisted that I move to Long Beach, you know, because at first, you know, I had an apartment in West LA and I was going to stay. He said, no, Gregorio, you're going to die. If you have to do every day that commute, forget it. And so I first had a little home here in Long Beach. And then I married, and my wife and I bought a house. And thank God we did, because we could not afford a rent like this.
Uh-huh.
And so then we moved into this house, and we had our first child and then a second one. And then I left MOLA. So there was really no reason for me to stay in Long Beach anymore. I mean, there was nothing, you know, there's very few museums in Long Beach, and certainly other than MOLA, none that would invite me, but I was able to do something that I wanted all along, which is to be independent, to be a performer. You know, that's something I've been wanting to. And so I stayed in Long Beach. And I have been here in Long Beach now for all my time as director of MOLA was about 9 years. And then after that, it's going to be 13 years, because I know this because it's the age of my daughter. She's going to be 13 in June. And she was born right when I left MOLA. So that makes it almost 20 years, maybe a little more than that, 21, 22 years. And so I'm now, I don't know how you say, like, how do you say, what would be the equivalent to be a New Yorker? How do you say it? No, you cannot be a Long Beacher, or I don't know how would you call yourself? But this is my city.
Yeah.
And I love it. Every day that I walk, everybody I've noticed, people are friendlier. They say hi to you more. I say hi back. We're all with masks and stuff. I like it very much. But my audience in Long Beach has complained to me recently, because I used to do a series called Murals Under the Stars, and I did it for many years. I started in MOLA, and then I created an organization called Arcos. Okay. And I developed a relationship, in the beach king here in Long Beach. But then he died too, and so after that, I have not really had a place to do it anymore. So it's been like now 2 or 3 years. This would be my 3rd year that I'm not doing Murals Under the Stars, and so I have not performed in Long Beach now for quite a while. And so my friends say, Gregorio, we're your core audience here, and we can never see you, and we hear that you perform in Italy and Spain and occasionally
that's really
LA, cool. But so I'm figuring out what would be the best way to reconnect with my audience in Long Beach. I want to see if we can do it next week or the week after. I have emails of friends. I'm figuring out how to do that, and so that's something that is interesting. And then another thing that I've been doing, I used to be, when I was living in Mexico, I used to write editorial articles, and I used to write on everything. I mean, it was a very important newspaper in Mexico called El Nacional, and so I wrote on international politics, on anything, they gave me, and I had an editorial article.
Are you planning to do this in Spanish or in English, or both?
Well, I've been writing in English.
Okay.
I've been writing in English, a little bit sometimes in Spanish, but mainly in English. I've been posting them in my Facebook page, and I've been getting a good response. My highest has been about almost 300 likes in one, 270. But more an average of 50, 30, really 70.
What is your Facebook page?
It's Gregorio Look. Now the problem with my Facebook page, and I have a lot of difficulty, is that I have 5,000 people.
Yes.
And they don't allow me to accept anymore, and so I get a lot of requests.
Yeah, you need like a celebrity page. Well, anyway, Gregorio, thank you so much. We got 2 minutes left, and we want to thank Jordan from On the Spot Live that is giving us this opportunity to test these new tools. And after we finish, we will see how it looks and how it works, and then we can hear some inputs from Jordan. Gregorio, thank you so much. If there's anything you want to say to our community here in Long Beach, anything?
Only that I love you guys, and I hope that this works, and maybe we can do presentations here. I'm ready. Like I've always said, half projector will travel. So now,
okay. Stay healthy. Wash your hands, and we'll see you soon.
And don't drink the Lysol, please.
We on the spot live.
Make sure you visit On the Spot Live at YouTube, Facebook, or our website for updates and more information.